Hello, this is Charles Dine with the Husband and Wife Home Team, and this is your April 2025 housing market update. If you go to findhappyaz.com, everything I present today will be found there. So over here at Find Happy AZ, you're going to go to How's the Market, and you'll find all the statistics I'm presenting here. Again, I take you from big to small, so we're going to start with the Keller Williams Realty International National Market Update. Jay Papasan joins our economist on this podcast to discuss all the all the national numbers that you can get there, including how tariffs might affect the market. I'm going to be discussing the Maricopa housing market today, and as you can see by this graphic, nationally, by national comparison, we're in a balanced market. However, Phoenix behaves a little differently because we are still a growing city, a newer city as compared to a lot of the older, more established cities back east. We traditionally run in a seller's market. With this increased months of inventory you see here of 6.14, Phoenix is going to behave more like a stronger buyer's market than a nationally balanced market. The reason why, and we've all seen this, is as soon as a listing gets 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 weeks on market, buyers start to ask much sooner, I wonder what's wrong with that property. Something's not quite right. Nobody's buying that property. Because as compared to just a few short years ago when properties were flying off the shelf, we suffer from recency. And those buyers are thinking that something must be wrong with these homes that are sitting on market a little bit longer. If we glance over to median days on market, that's 55 days on average across Maricopa County that we're looking at homes staying on market. And you can see that's actually down 11.29% month over month, which is moving in the right direction. We are seeing the market heat up just a little bit. We are entering the selling season, and this activity is good to see. We are seeing increased showings. We're seeing increased buyer activity, but are the homes actually selling? That's what we're going to be looking at today. Regarding months of inventory, that's what that really means is given the current inventory on market, how many months would have to pass for all that inventory to sell? And that number is 6.14. It is up 2.85% month over month. So we have more homes, more inventory coming on market that are not being consumed as quickly. So you've got consumption rate and you've got inventory. When that number climbs, that means that we are not consuming that inventory as quickly as we used to. I want to now look over to the sold to list price ratio at 98.2%. What this doesn't account for is the total price reductions and any concessions given to buyers from sellers. So with the affordability crisis that we're under, we're seeing sellers have to help buyers with concessions. So that seller concession goes to the buyer to help with things like closing costs or even buying down their interest rate. Remembering buying down that rate helps their affordability much better than anything else they can apply those monies to. So the average concession across Maricopa County is about $10,000. $10,000 actually gets a decent rate buy down to most buyers, significantly increasing both their purchase ability and purchase price. Looking over here to the right, you can see the median sold price across Maricopa County is now $495,000. With the affordability crisis, what we have to remember about the median is this is the exact middle, which means half the homes also sold below $495,000. And we have several first-time home buyers that we have helped buy in this below median price range. So those, I'll call them deals. Those deals are out there. You just have to be patient and find them. Many times, the deals in this price range, they're not the homes that the buyer would like. Well, they're not the ones that they prefer for their first purchase, let's say it that way. But what I like to say is the fastest path to your dream home is your first home. Elizabeth and I's first home, it wasn't our dream home. It looked like every other house down the street. It looked like they had just taken a rubber stamp and stamped houses down the street and they all looked the same. It was not our dream home, but we owned it for a decade or so, and it allowed us to take some money out of that home from time to time when we needed help. So it was good leverage. And the home that we bought when we retired here locally from Japan, we had significant appreciation in that home, which allowed us to move forward into our current home. So it's important to remember, should I buy, should I not? Which market do I buy in? When's the right time? The real question to ask yourself is that when's the right time? The right time is now, as soon as you can afford what you can afford, because getting in is more important than getting what you want. Because if you don't get in, you might not get what you want, if that makes sense. So now we're going to move down and look at the Maricopa County data analysis. And I want to jump straight down to the 12-month change in months of inventory. This has increased by 66.4%, which is a significant increase in inventory. So there's plenty of homes on the market to sell. And I have the statistics from our market update here. I'll pull some unique statistics off of this data as well. Available listings. We enter April with 25,614 available listings. That is a lot of homes to look at. But what does that mean, Charles? That number is innocuous without perspective, right? And what's important to know about this number is it's the most listings to begin any April since 2014. So we've got more listings coming on this April than at any time previously since 2014. Active single-family homes make up 18,641 of that total number. That's up 39% year over year. So there's 39% more homes to look at this year than last year. So there is a lot of new homes coming on market. What does that mean for buyers? Buyers have more choice, right? What does that mean for contracting? If we jump down here to homes under contract, February ends up 10% month over month. Again, another positive number. That means buyers are buying 10% more than last month, but down 3% from February last year. So while we've got a slight uptick month over month, it's down from last year. So taking everything I've just said, we've got more homes than at any point since 2014, and we've got buyers, less buyers taking action this year than last year. It means that it's a little tougher road to hoe for sellers. It means sellers have keen competition. There's more competition out there when you're listing, and the buyers aren't as active as they were just last year. This is the lowest March, and remember it's April, but we always look at last month's numbers and previous numbers because we work looking backwards. This is the lowest March since at least 2015 in activity. So what's the success rate? The success rate is 72%. So 72% of the homes that list sell. That number is down from extremely high listing success rates just 2 years ago that were approaching, 96, 97, 98% just a couple of years ago. More recently, I've seen listing success rates in the 76% range. We're now down to 72% this month. So sellers are having less success listing their homes more recently. The fallout rate is also dropping. So the fallout rate used to be 1 in 5. That's increased to 1 in 6. So of the listings that are on market, it used to be 1 in 5 would fall out of contract. We now have 1 in 6 falling out of contract. That's actually a positive direction. Finally, I want to leave you with something interesting that we learned out of our market update, and that you may have heard the largest wealth transfer in history is currently taking place. As the baby boomers increase in age, their accumulated wealth is being transferred generationally. What was surprising was the average ages of sellers and buyers. The average seller is now 69 years old, almost 70. The average buyer is 53 years old. And the most surprising one was the first-time home buyer, who we may in our mind think of as young professionals just getting started, young married couples. The average first-time buyer is now 36 years old, and there's a lot of complicating factors that add to this increased buying age. It wasn't that long ago that first-time home buyer age was much lower, but we have affordability and the affordability crisis that's happening right now with rates and pricing. Pricing is a little bit high. Rates have increased. While traditionally average, it's still the most important factor when calculating affordability. The other factor in that is their debt ratios. These young people are carrying a lot more accumulated debt with student loans and other consumer debt than previous generations have. And all those factors are causing the average age to climb. I just found it very interesting that those aren't what we'd expect. So that's your market update for April. If you have any questions at all about these statistics or what they might mean, feel free to reach out. I'm glad to have a talk. And if you are thinking about selling your home and these numbers are a little bit scary, let me assure you there are strategies and ways that you can market your home most effectively to have the greatest chance at success. Again, if you'd like to learn what those strategies are, give Elizabeth and I a call. We're happy to talk through it. Thank you.